This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 648.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Why? Hello, everybody. This is Adam Silvey, host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one, and that is not a WordCamp, but it's a charity hackathon. It's called Do_Action Charity Hackathon. It's August 1st. It's in Uyo, I believe it's how you pronounce it, which is at the Start Innovation Hub in Nigeria, the Uyo Start Innovation Hub. And just to tell you what it is, Do_Action Uyo is a community-driven initiative where the local WordPress community in Uyo comes together to give back by building websites for nonprofit organizations. Pretty cool. I remember seeing this happen pre-COVID at a lot of meetups. They would work out for a weekend or get together for a weekend. Not really a WordCamp per se, but just more of a longer weekend type of thing, or a single day on a Saturday, same kind of concept. So very cool. I would love to see that come back. If you want to maybe participate in that part of the world, go ahead. If you're there, if not, set it up in your own area. That'd be great. All right. And I think that's it in upcoming events. Yeah, that is it. Moving on to segment 1 in the news. Only one thing to talk about here, and that is WordPress 7.1 Beta 3 was released. Apparently more than 71 issues were addressed since Beta 1. And Beta 3 also introduces 2 improvements to styling. One of them is applying local style changes. Globally is no longer an all or nothing action. The apply globally option in the block inspector now opens a quick review step, allowing you to choose which modified styles to apply globally while keeping the rest as local overrides. Okay, a lot of words there, but I'm sure it makes sense to some of you. And the other one is a notable fix that includes improvements to media uploads. Long animated GIF uploads no longer hang. Images rotated using EXIF metadata are processed now correctly. So that's cool. Always good to have things in the EXIF metadata to not go wonky there. So that is it in the news. Yeah, that's it in the news. All right. So that is it there. Moving on to segment 2. But before segment 2, a word from this week's sponsor.
Running a business means wearing a lot of hats, but invoicing, expense tracking, and getting paid should not take up your entire day. FreshBooks brings invoices, expenses, payments, recurring billing, and more together in one easy-to-use platform. Create professional-looking invoices in seconds, add your logo, personalize client messages, and automatically import expenses by connecting your bank account. FreshBooks can also connect with more than 100 partner apps. Add tools for appointment scheduling, customer management, payroll, tax preparation, and more. Spend less time managing paperwork and more time growing your business. Right now, you can get 90% off FreshBooks for 6 months. Visit partner.freshbooks.com/KSWP.
And thanks for FreshBooks for partnering up with me on that. That's awesome. 90% off. That's for, I think, for 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. So check that out. Link in the show notes as well. Okay, moving on, segment 2. So this week, I'm going to start a new series of reviews in a particular area of focus, similar to how I've done it in the past with forum plugins, e-commerce alternatives, even other CMSs, which I tested, a year or two ago. That being said, we're diving now into the tools, services, plugins that seem to be plentiful all of a sudden that connect WordPress to the AI world via the MCP and whatnot. Different ways of doing this, but this week I'm going to start with NovaMira. It's a plugin, and after I heard about this from my friend and yours, Marcus Burnett, and he's using it for a lot of his projects. He's all in on it for a lot of things. So what is NovaMira? Well, loosely put, it's a WordPress plugin that turns your website into an MCP server, creating a direct bridge between WordPress and AI tools like Claude, Codex, Cursor. That means an AI agent can do more than just simply suggest content or write code. With the right permissions, it can actually inspect, manage, troubleshoot, and make changes to the WordPress site itself. So I took that mostly from researching what it is and watching some videos, and we'll talk about that as well, the videos I found out there, because it comes into play here. And I went ahead, I downloaded the plugin. There's a free version and a pro version. I went free for now. I installed it locally into a brand new clean WordPress install using local by WP or local WP by Flywheel, excuse me. And then I was taken to the setup page where I installed it, of course, I activated it, and then taken to the dashboard. And I'm going to kind of go through the settings and what I did and how I tested it best I could in a very top level view, very high level view, 30,000 foot view. Okay, so the configuration. The first thing you have to do is enable the AI abilities. There's a checkbox. Yes, you want to do this, of course. Otherwise, why am I installing it? There's a note there. I call it a red note, security note. It says, when enabled, AI agents can execute PHP code and perform file system operations on this site. For development and staging environments only, always keep backups. Use NovaMira with capable AI models and set your client to ask for confirmation before every action. Read what the agent is about to do before approving. It's giving you a clear warning that this can really do a lot of damage and a lot of good, so keep that in mind. Okay, so the second thing in line to do after the enable AI abilities is to choose the way I want to authenticate. You have a choice of OAuth versus application password. I went with the application password because it just seemed easier for me. I didn't want to use any other service. I'm running locally, it just made sense. Did that. And then I was given the chance to connect to the AI client of choice. And there are a whole bunch of choices here. Some I had never heard of, like half of them. They were, I'm going to read them to you real quick. Claude Code, Claude Desktop, Codex, Anti-Gravity, Cursor, VS Code, GitHub Copilot, Windsor, Klein, Gemini CLI, 2Code, Amazon Q, Zed, Kilo Code, and Open Code. And honestly, I believe like I said, half of those I've never heard of, which could be more podcast episodes about testing those out in the future. I'm a Codex guy, so I went ahead and chose Codex. And then I connected it with the, just clicking that button. From there, I went to my Codex application and I created a new project, and then I pasted the provided prompt that it was given to paste into the prompt, if you will. And then from there, I was given information back telling me that, quote, I'll add the NovaMira localhost MCP entry using only 3 specified environment variables and the exact NPX arguments. There was some text there telling me what it was going to do. And I'm like, all right, I didn't say anything not to do it or do it. I just went ahead and did it. 90 seconds later, it configured it for me. And what it really did was it configured a .toml file in the Codex directory of my user account, et cetera, et cetera. And it also exposed the tools of MCD adapter discoverable abilities, get ability info, and execute ability. So it kind of gave itself permissions, which I said okay to. So now what? I'm thinking to myself, what do I do now? Well, before doing anything too deep, I want to see what the other settings were in the dashboard of the plugin itself. And I see additional options, and those were Abilities Hub, Content, Skills, Design, Sandbox, Block Editor Queue, Chat, Visual, which was experimental, and Get Pro. Get Pro is obviously the easiest one. You can upgrade. I went first to Abilities, and it turned all those on. Those were Admin Access, Code Exec, Design, File System, and Gutenberg and Skills. I said yes to all of those. Then I went back to Codex, and I said, okay, what can I do with this now? And the answer, because I wasn't quite sure how this was really going to work, honestly. I was kind of just shooting in the dark here. And the answer I came back with was, you can now ask me to inspect, manage, develop, and redesign the local WordPress site directly. Examples could be audit this WordPress site and report problems without changing anything. List all pages, posts, plugins, themes, and users. Inspect the active theme and explain how it works. Read or edit a specific site file. It was pretty interesting. So it gave me, I think, like a dozen things I could do with it. It also was clear and honest about itself, saying that it clearly exposed the capabilities to read, write, and edit and delete files. It could run WP CLI commands. It can execute PHP inside of WordPress. It can read and edit Gutenberg content, create in pages through Gutenberg finalized queue. It can manage reusable NovaMira skills. It told me what it could do as well. It also gave me an important note saying this connection provides essentially unrestricted control of the entire installation. I'll treat read-only requests as read-only and won't make changes until you ask. And then it gave me a suggestion. Maybe a good first request would be inspect the NovaMira WordPress site and give me a read-only overview of its pages, theme, plugins, configuration, and site health. And I thought about doing that, but it didn't make sense in this case because it's a brand new site. Nothing is going wrong with this. It's literally, it has the 2 pages, it has 1 blog post, and that's it for right now. So before doing any of that, I went back to the back end and I wanted to see what those other areas in the overall settings in the dashboard were. Like first, for example, context. And it says context is a stable context agent should apply on the site without ever asking again. Site, for example, site goals, constraints, what to avoid, what needs approval. It's kind of like giving it just the rules of that site, which is pretty cool. The next one was skills. It came with 4 custom built-in themes, skills. One for Gutenberg, edit content, NovaMira design, and skill creator. And from there, you can also upload .md files. MD is Markdown, or you can add some manually, which of course, it suggests that you ask AI to help create the skill itself. So it's very meta there. The design tab looks similar to the skills, but from a design perspective. Your site has one design direction. The active design, this is from itself. The active design, your AI builds within. It's created for the site from the brief, not picking from a catalog. On every page, the AI also enforces a floor of anti-slop rules. So I'm guessing what this is, technically speaking, is that you tell it what you want to look like. You give it the fonts, you give it the weights, you give it the colors, and it will abide by that. You can also import a design.md file, just like you can in skills, in context. In the sandbox setting, it said no sandbox files yet. And it also said AI agents will place generated files here. So I Googled that. I was curious, what's that mean? And it said, I got some information back that said, this is where NovaMira might build something and where it keeps it, but it can also move it out from there. And in more research, what that means is if you had it write a snippet, it could leave it there. But you also might want to move it to some other service or a plugin, let's say WP snippets or Fluent snippets, because that way, if you want to disable NovaMira, things won't break. So it's kind of an in-between, the sandbox. That's what it is. It's like almost like a purgatory is how I see it, where it might write code and it keeps it there, but you also might want to move it out when you're done with it within itself, if that makes sense. A couple more in the settings area here were block editor queue. This was defined as the background utility page that's used by NovaMira to safely validate and serialize Gutenberg blocks. Yeah, it was interesting. And NovaMira Chat run your own AI provider. So you need to have your own account with a chat agent, like ChatGPT. You can connect it and have chat in the dashboard itself, not using Codex or Claude or one of the other tools. And the last one here was visual, which said experimental. You can watch the agent's work instead of having it be done in the back end. It's free on the free level, on the free package version. It'll work in Gutenberg and Elementor. Bricks, and there was one other one that you had to pay for the pro level to have it work with that. Okay, so the settings are done. I think I understand how things are working. I didn't put a whole lot of planning into this at the moment. I'm just testing this out still to see where this is going to land in my world as far as those settings go for example, the design or skills or context. But I went back to Codex and I said, okay, create me half a dozen new pages. I said, give them titles. In this case, I went with something running related, I believe. Have it write me an article about those topics and create featured images for each one. And it did that. And it did it really fast this time around. And then I said, okay, now after that, I didn't want it to be uncategorized. So create a new category that matches the content and assign it to that. And I did that, and that took a little bit longer. And then I went back one more time and it said, now remove the uncategorized from all published posts. And it did that as well. So I can see how this works. Obviously, I'm not saying to use it to create your content, but I can see just basics of doing this. I'm also early on testing this. I might come back with a part 2 of this. I probably will do a part 2 where doing layouts and doing design work specifically for the front end, not just the content as well. On the issue of all of this and how it works and trying to learn about it and get my head wrapped around it, I want to mention that the videos currently on YouTube, they're not very old and they're good. There's about tutorials there. And again, I'm trying to share this in an audio only format, but I noticed that the settings were different from what I had on my computer. And I was curious about that. So I went and did some digging, and it looks like that they're just using an older version, not even that old, and it might be using Pro. And so I have, like, for example, configuration is the same. AI Abilities is now called AI Abilities Hub, Sandbox is Sandbox. License is now Get Pro. Memory and Instructions is now Context. And the older version didn't have Skills, Block Editor Queue, Visual Experiments, Chat, and Design. So keep that in mind if you see videos out there that this product is really moving pretty quick. And it's a little confusing just for that alone. Now, full disclosure, full transparency, I'm curious about why to use this here, Because honestly, in my situation, my work use case study, way I'm going to word this, is it seems a little slow and maybe redundant. And I'm thinking, can I just do this with Codex by itself? And yeah, obviously I can because I have been doing it, but I can see that Codex actually, it is faster for me to use Codex right now directly, but to a point, only to a certain thing. There's a limitation of what I can do. There's overhead the way I'm doing it right now: Codex, MCP, NovaMira, WordPress, database. It's faster to just take out the MCP piece, right? It just is. But what's interesting here is it's useful, for example, if you want to update a homepage, let's say a headline, on 20 different sites, and if you don't have Codex running this way, it'll take, if you go each 20 sites separately, but if you have 20, if you plugged in the right way, I guess I need to word it this way. If you're plugged in the right way, you can actually work a lot faster down a standardized doorway because it just connects to all the pieces at once, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to kind of get your head wrapped around it, but I can definitely see how this is very useful down the line. All right, overall, it's very promising. The plugin worked just fine, no problems there. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on it. I know for sure there will be a part 2 to this plugin because there's so much going on there, and I want to learn more about it. And I want to see what's going on out there and how I might use it, how I can share it with you. Maybe we do a live, a Twitch stream. I kind of build something live during the week, or I'll record something. I'll do both. I'll record it live and also share it on the YouTube channel. How's that sound? Let me know. And if you're using it already and you want to share how you're using it, I would love to see that as well. So that'd be kind of cool. All right, moving on. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This one is kind of in the same realm. It's a website called there'sanaIforthat.com. I wish I had bought that domain. It's a resource of a whole bunch of AI related things. Lots of stuff going on there. Check it out. There'sanaIforthat.com. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, 2 ways there: become a Patreon or buy me a coffee. If you want to sponsor or partner with me on the show, you can do that. There's a form, fill out, get back to you. Again, thanks to FreshBooks for this week's partnership. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.